Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Frank Andrews, Marisa Burke, meteorologist Noreen Clark's backyard forecast, and Jay Christopher's sports. This is Newswatch 16 midday.
Good afternoon, everyone. Some state employees may get their paychecks a little bit late this week because lawmakers still have not passed a new budget. Now, they are debating a $10.5 billion spending plan in Harrisburg right now. Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini is live in our newsroom with the very latest on that budget battle. Bob, what can you tell us?
Frank, House of Representatives and Senate leaders, along with Governor Casey, are reportedly pleased with the budget compromise worked out last night. It calls for a $10.5 billion budget with a $95 million tax cut aimed mostly at spurring business growth in the Commonwealth. Now, people who don't make much money would also see their taxes cut. The zero tax bracket has been raised across the board, and a family of four would have to make $8,000 a year before paying any taxes. The present law sets the so-called poverty level at $5,700. There were efforts to lower all personal income taxes by 0.5%, but that proposal was dropped in the compromise. So no personal tax cut except, as we said, for the very poor. The budget agreement would give an additional $214 million in state aid to local school districts. That's over and above what was spent in the fiscal year just finished. And it provides $140 million in aid to municipalities for local tax reform aimed at getting more money to those municipalities. The governor wanted this aid so local governments could find ways to help themselves overcome the loss of federal revenue sharing. Now, this is a one-time appropriation. The budget is being printed today in both the House and Senate. Could pass it by tomorrow afternoon at the very latest, and perhaps even earlier, and then it would go to the governor. Now, the state technically has no money to spend until the budget is passed, but last night it was revealed that welfare checks were pre-dated to June 30th, meaning they will be paid out of the last budget. So those who depend on state aid to get by will get their checks and can cash them. Frank?
All right, thanks for all that information, Bob. New public beach opened today at Harvey's Lake in Luzerne County. It is a beach that has been in the planning stages for months. Newswatch 16's Marisa Burke talked to some merchants and residents at Harvey's Lake this morning, and they tell her that they hope it'll draw more people to Harvey's Lake. Here's her report.
Some business people feel by opening a public beach here at Harvey's Lake, it might change the impression many people have about this place. They say many people from outside the borough think the lake is off limits because just so much of the property is private.
I'm hopeful that this will be a step in the right direction to, again, create an access to our community.
Some other merchants see other benefits from a new public beach. Jim Drury owns this deli restaurant.
It will be better for business. A public beach will help draw more business into the area.
But perhaps the biggest benefit will be to some people right here in this tiny community. Sunset Beach is now the borough's only free beach, complete with adequate parking donated by a pizza parlor.
Most of the beaches you have to pay to get in. And Sunset you won't have to. You know, I could take the kids over there. We can enjoy ourselves. You know, you have a pizza place, you got a store there.
And even though Sunset Beach opened without a lot of fanfare this morning, the borough hopes to see this beach filled with swimmers very soon.
Once again, Newswatch 16's Marisa Burke reporting. She tells us that new beach opened at 11 o'clock this morning. Some mixed news today about your telephone bill. Starting today, your bill goes up 60 cents a month for every line that goes into your home. The FCC is letting the companies charge you for the cost of running the wire from its office to your house. But long-distance rates are going down. AT&T is reducing its rates by 4.8% today. MCI will cut its rates by the same amount starting in August. The Westside landfill remains open today. The Department of Environmental Resources says it can stay open till at least July 8th, and officials hope in that time they'll be able to reach an agreement to prevent a closing altogether. Now, the Westside landfill takes trash from over 100 local communities in Luzerne County and 2 others in the area. DER had ordered it closed yesterday at 4. The Luzerne County Commissioners sent a letter to Harrisburg requesting the extension and got it. Now officials will talk about posting a $5 million bond to help get 2 other areas of that Luzerne County dump open for haulers in this area. History is being made in South Korea today as government leaders, they say they'll go along with demands for big changes. We'll have the story. Plus the Iran-Contra hearings and testimony from the man called the mastermind. Colonel Oliver North will explain next on Newswatch 16 Midday.
Look for the SureSave stamp of approval, and you'll find great weekly specials like these.
Miracle Whip salad dressing, 32-ounce jar, $1.49. Breyer's ice cream, half gallon, $2.49. Frozen Heaven bars, package of 6, $2.49. And grade A chicken breast, 99 cents a pound.
When you want the very best, look for Sure Save.
Look for the Sure Save stamp of approval at a locally owned supermarket near you.
I like the way you make me laugh. I like the funny things you do. You got a style that's all your own. I like the sprite in you. You make me want to smile. You know you make me sparkle too. You're such a kick to have around. I like the sprite in you.
Sprite, the only one with lime in it. The unexpected twist that makes us different, livelier, special.
I like the sprite in you.
The Iran-Contra hearings resume later today in Washington, and the man called the mastermind of the operation will testify in private. Congress wants to know how and why arms sales profits from Iran went to rebel forces in Nicaragua. Colonel Oliver North will answer questions behind closed doors today. Then next week begin a week of public testimony. Now, he is a former White House aide. The terms of his testimony, even the length, has already been worked out by attorneys. A federal judge has ruled that the $12,000 a year pay hike that Congress gave itself 6 months ago is indeed legal. Now, the senators and the congressmen allowed their salaries to go up by not voting the pay hike down. A treaty to remove medium-range missiles in Europe and Asia could be a reality very soon. U.S. and Soviet negotiators have tentatively agreed to a plan to get rid of the weapons. Now, in return, the U.S. would promise not to modify its cruise missiles into sea-launched rockets or change its Pershing II missiles into shorter-range weapons. More talks on that proposal are set for Geneva, Switzerland next month. And history is being made in South Korea today, as the government leaders there have approved sweeping changes. ABC's Mark Litke reports on the announcement and the reaction.
It was history in the making, and Koreans gathered around television screens throughout the nation. Some appeared stunned as a tired-looking President Chun announced he would accept entirely the proposed package of democratic reforms.
Our politics must now cast aside its shabby old ways and achieve an advanced form of democracy that we can proudly show to the world.
Chun gave ruling party President Roh Tae-woo much of the credit for the government's change of heart, but in fact, nearly 3 weeks of violent demonstrations here had forced the government to cave in to all the demands of the opposition. Direct popular elections for president this year, release of political prisoners, and greater freedom of speech and press. Leading dissident Kim Dae-jung, whose political rights should now be restored, was more cautious, saying the government must still prove its sincerity.
It must be sincere to produce a really democratic constitution and, free election law for presidential election.
But skepticism aside, there has been something of a revolution here over the past few weeks, and this morning, South Korea is probably closer to a democracy than it's ever been in its history. Mark Litke, ABC News, Seoul.
And our Weather Watch forecast is next. It is the 1st of July and a muggy start. We should be glad, right? It's summer.
Well, Frank, the month of July is the dog days of summer. We've got a little bit of that today. And I'll be back to tell you when the atmosphere should offer us less humidity coming up.
Have you ever seen produce that looks so good you can almost taste the freshness? In the produce department at Acme, you'll find variety and freshness to please your senses at prices that make sense. Bing cherries from the Northwest, 99 cents a pound. Country Pride chicken leg quarters, 69 cents a pound. Turkey Hill ice cream, $2.19 a half gallon. And half price on all ever-ready batteries, flashlights, and lanterns. Acme, check us out.
Experience the thrill of a lifetime. The Phoenix, one of America's top-rated roller coasters.
Food and fantasy, it's the clean, refreshing place to be for summer fun. Canovo, it's the summer wonderland.
Fly the Phoenix. It's a flight you'll never forget.
Canovo, it's the summer wonderland at Canovo's Amusement Resort.
Well, you heard Noreen say July is the dog days of summer, and it's kind of muggy out there today. Good start to the month, Noreen.
That is right, Frank. It's hard to keep your cool, though, and it looks as if it's going to be hard for us to get rid of the high humidity before the upcoming holiday weekend. Let's check with our weather watchers this midday. And Mrs. Pat Smith in Mill Hall has sunshine and 76 degrees. From Denmar Gardens near Coltmont, George Baylog reports it's 80 degrees and overcast with some sunshine off and on. And in Mount Pocono, Stanley Rukowski has an overcast sky and 74 degrees. Right now in the Channel 16 backyard under a partly sunny sky, the temperature is a warm 79 degrees. Humidity sticky at 66%. The wind is light and it's not helping to cool things off. It's out of the north at 3 miles per hour and the barometric pressure is holding steady at 30.9 inches. And taking a glance at Skywatch 16 live Doppler radar, we have a few very light, widely scattered showers, a few over Lycoming County, Union, Snyder, and into a little bit of Juniata, eastern Juniata, along with northern Dauphin County. And there are also some widely scattered, extremely light showers up over the northern counties. You might be able to see a few down here over the southeastern part of the state, but just generally, much of the area is dry right now. And if you see a shower, it'll be just a very light passing sprinkle just about. Let's take a glance at the satellite picture. You'll notice a band of cloudiness stretching from New England all the way out into the Ohio Valley, but there is a break with a good deal of sunshine over the state, and that is helping to really warm things up this afternoon. Temperatures surging into the 80s to near 90 degrees down in the Allentown area with all this sunshine. This is all due to a front and a weak storm that's out over the Mississippi Valley. We have showers to the north of this front, but generally to the south it is very hot and humid. And out over the Ohio Valley there is an area of rain, and it looks like it's moving toward us for tonight into tomorrow, so it looks like we will finally get some showers as that front sagged down over us last night. It was tamer than what it's been. It produced very widely scattered showers and thunderstorms that didn't amount to much, but the same front did do some damage out in Ohio and western Pennsylvania, so I guess we were lucky. You'll notice that there is dry air up here. It doesn't look like it's going to reach us right away, possibly into Friday, but then it's going to be followed by the next disturbed weather that will come in late Friday into Saturday, and hopefully for the 4th of July we'll break into some drier weather. As far as the summer ahead, we're all interested in warm, dry weather through much of the summer along with our vacations. And you'll notice that there's a good chance from July through the end of September that we could be above normal here in Pennsylvania, below out over West Texas and Arizona, and below normal over the Pacific Northwest, with above normal temperatures possible out in California and the desert Southwest. As far as the afternoon ahead, we've got more high heat and humidity temperatures on the summer side. The winds will be light. Cloudiness will be mainly over the northern counties, but where there is sunshine, thunderstorms could pop up along with some widely scattered showers, and the hot temperatures will be down toward the Allentown area. And here's the complete forecast. We're looking for showers and thunderstorms to be on the increase as we head into tonight. Tomorrow we should get a good period, maybe an hour or two or more of showers, the high about 76 degrees. Heading into Friday, we'll see some sunshine, but again, there's the risk of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. And heading into the 4th of July, we could start out cloudy on Saturday, but I think we're going to break into some pleasant, dry sunshine during the day. So we finally dry out for the holiday weekend ahead, Frank.
Enjoy the afternoon. Thank you,
care.
Maureen. The Wild Side Trick Bicycle Riding team is in the spotlight next on the Sports Watch. Jay Christopher takes a look at what they can do on 2 wheels. Coming up next on Newswatch 16 Midday.
We got style, we got flash. Mandarin orange is making us splash. We got the juice when you got a passion. Slice has the orange that tastes simply smashing. We got the juice. We got the juice.
10% juice.
We got the taste. Nobody else has. We got the juice.
Diet too.
Slice, slice.
I've been waiting all day to see this report on these amazing kids on these bikes.
They are something else, Frank. Thank you very much. Hello again, everybody. Tired of riding around and looking at houses during the warm months, a half-dozen youths from Schuylkill County began doing something a little different. 3 months ago, they began practicing freestyle biking, a sport that isn't for everybody. And here's that story. Take an ordinary parking lot on a hot summer afternoon, gather some boys who like to ride bikes, and you have the Wild Side Trick Team of Pottsville. The trick team consists of a half-dozen teenagers who took some basic transportation, made some modifications, added a lot of practice time, suffered bruised knees and elbows, and came up with an act that's something to watch. It's called freestyle biking. It requires an enormous amount of agility, balance, and concentration. In freestyling, your feet never touch the ground. How else would you execute a G-turn tail whip, or a pinky squeak, or a quick spin, or a cherry picker? Some freestyle bikes can be purchased for under $150, others as much as $500.
There's an SR Spin Tech rotor, so my cables don't get tangled. I never have to unwind them. I can just keep spinning forever. Have GT fork stands and a frame platform and GT frame stands to stand on, to hop, do different tricks, surfing tricks and stuff.
Doing the stuff has obviously paid off. The Wildside team has been performing at numerous functions throughout surrounding counties. The next time you hear about quick spins and tail whips, expect to find Pottsville's Wildside Trick Team close by. I'm Jay Christopher, Sports Watch 16. There's something else. Let's go to baseball. Boston entertained at a tea party of sorts last night. All the guests were at Fenway Park to watch the fireworks display as the Red Sox exploded to beat the Baltimore Orioles 13-9. Wade Boggs, he was entertaining too. He had 3 for 3, 1 homer to up his batting average to .391, best in the majors. Also entertaining, Dwight Evans. He tagged his 13th of the year over the screen in left field. That was a homer. Boy, that put Boston up 4-0. Now we move to the second inning. The Orioles regained the lead with 5 runs. One of the key hits was double by Cal Ripken Jr., but in the late going, Wade Boggs would homer to lead the Red Sox to a 13-9 victory. For the first time since last September, Yankee pitcher Ron Guidry recorded a victory. Guidry teamed with Tim Stoddard to beat Toronto 4-0. The Yanks lead the American East by 2 full games. Last night, early going, Gary Ward tags this fastball for a base hit to right that scored Don Mattingly, 1-0 New York. Now in the second inning, Willie Randolph steps up. He waits, takes, and slices this double that scores Mike Pagliarulo and Wayne Tollison. It's a 3-0 ball game, New York. Guidry looked good. Now, he struck out 9 over 7.5 innings as the Yankees shut out Toronto 4-0. Steve Bedrosian got his 13th consecutive save last night as the Phillies grounded Pittsburgh 6-4. In that game, first inning, Juan Samuel came to play ball. Here he sends this one out of the park. Samuel's 12th of the season. It's 1-0 Phils. Still in the first, after Milt Thompson had doubled, Von Hayes drills one to left. On the hit, 1 run scores. It's 2-0 Philadelphia. Then Glenn Wilson will come to bat. He tags this one, but Andy Van Slyke tracks it down. Wilson will tag on the sacrifice and come home. It was 3-0 Phillies. They go on to beat the Pirates by a score of 6-4. Wimbledon, Ivan Lendl, top-seeded at Wimbledon, defeated 9th-seeded Henri Leconte today. And a remarkable comeback at Wimbledon yesterday. American Jimmy Connors rallied from 2 sets on the deficit side to beat Sweden's Michael Pernforms on Tuesday. He advances to the next round. Now, the 34-year-old Connors wore down the 21-year-old Swede. Connors won the third set 7-5, came from behind to win the fourth, and then won the final set with ease. Jimmy Connors wins at Wimbledon in a classic comeback. Nice going, Jimmy. And that's a Sports Watch, Frank.
That was a great report on the bikes.
Thank you very much.
To try that someday. The search for Planet X is next on Newswatch 16 midday. We'll tell you about the work of one NASA scientist and trying to find a 10th planet when we come back.
Make 1987 the year you take the plunge. At Olympic Pools, we can make your backyard a wonderful vacation world. You'll find a complete line of above-ground and in-ground pools, sensational spas, and pool essentials. Olympic Pools, your swimming pool and spa headquarters for 21 years, assures you the best in quality and service with 4 locations to serve you. Olympic Pools, nobody does it better.
And finally today, is there a 10th planet orbiting the sun? Well, NASA scientist John Anderson says maybe. He says 2 Pioneer spacecraft sending back data are helping him research the subject. Now, speculation is that if it's there, it's 5 times as large as the planet Earth, but traveling in a right-angle orbit compared to the other planets. Now, astronomers have long searched for the mysterious planet X, believing that it is there, but they still aren't sure. Now, the last planet in our solar system to be discovered, by the way, was in 1930, the planet Pluto. We are out of time for Newswatch 16 Midday. For the crew and Marisa Burke, who is on assignment in Luzerne County, have a good afternoon, everyone.